Hey everyone, we're live. Welcome to the AllBrands show. I'm Barbara from AllBrands.com. We are a family-owned and operated sewing machine store with 7 locations throughout Louisiana and Texas. And today we're going to be talking about sergers. What do you know about sergers? Do you like them? Are you scared of them? Do you have no clue what they do? Well, we're going to go back to basics today and learn all about just the basics. We're going to learn different types of machines and functions, the different parts of a serger, a few of the stitches that you would use on a regular basis, and some really cool exclusive features on some of the top-of-the-line models that are my favorite, actually. And then if y'all want to do more, maybe next week we can get into decorative stitches and all of that. So yeah, put on your thinking caps and we're just going to get started. So what is a serger stitch? Serger, okay, there's 2 ways of saying a serger. Some people call it an overlocker and some people call it a serger. What's the difference? There's absolutely no difference. It's just a different way of saying it. Typically European folks call it an overlocker, which makes sense because the stitch goes over the edge and locks on there. And we call it in America a serger. It is a specialized sewing machine to create durable, professional-looking seams and edges on fabric. So you can use it to make sure that your seams are very trim. It encases it with thread and stitches them together all in one step. This results in the finished seams that prevent fraying and provide a clean, polished look to garments or other fabric projects. Sergers are commonly used in garment construction, but it's often also used in quilting, home decor, and everyday sewing. It's funny that a sewing machine is actually has less features and benefits, in my opinion, as a serger. There's just so many different things that you can do with a serger. So they're excellent also tools for hemming knits. So with the sewing machine, if you can do a zigzag stitch kind of and be able to stretch, but if you really want to get a stretchy seam, or you're doing maybe a bathing suit or something like that that you really want to stretch, a serger is what you're going to want to have in your toolbox. So they're excellent tools for hemming knits because they're able to create stretchy and durable seams, and they're just phenomenal with that. Let's go ahead and say hey to a few folks before we get into, I'm going to show you how to thread a serger. They're all basically the same. It's just the loops around are a little different here and there, and sometimes, yeah. So we're going to thread a serger, but before we do, I wanted to announce that we're going to be doing a giveaway during this show at the very end. So if you could, please comment #AllBrands to be eligible to win a $25 AllBrands.com e-gift card. There's also another way to win. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So all you have to do on Facebook is share this publicly, and at the end I'll log into Facebook and pick one lucky winner to win another $25 AllBrands.com e-gift card. And yes, we do sell sergers and cover stitch machines and combination machines on our website, so maybe you could use it towards a new serger. That would be great. All right, let's check the comments really quick. Oh, here we go. Barbara Jones is watching. I love my serger, except this week. Needles are breaking and I haven't had time to troubleshoot. Maybe it's time to jack it up and put a new one under it. Yes, needles are, kind of like tires on a car. You know, they can get bent or skewed, and you know, if it's not lining up properly with those loopers going back and forth, yeah, best to change the needle. Oh, Sheila has a baby lock accolade that I'm afraid to play with. Okay, so thank you for asking that. And funny enough, I have a new setup in my studio, so I'm able to see the comments while I'm working on the Serger. So go ahead and ask away if you guys have any questions, because that's going to help me know what you want to know. Oh, we have Charmaine watching from South Africa. Very cool. Oh my goodness. All over the world. It's great to see everybody. Oh, Paula says, I have to celebrate. Just give it a whirl. It seems intimidating. All right. Here we go. Danielle, I hope I pronounced that correctly, says, I need to learn to use mine. I've had it for almost 30 years and have only tried it once. Oh no, Danielle. So, Danielle, I used to be a yoga instructor, funny enough, and I think that breathing and just blocking out a day, say today I'm going to play with my Serger. I'm going to have no expectations. I'm just going to touch the manual, look at it and read it, and just troubleshoot and go through things. So don't be afraid to make a mistake, but also don't have high expectations when you first start, because you definitely don't want to have that disappointment. Because, you know, with sewing and serging, sometimes, you know, things go wrong, and it's okay. There's ways to fix it. These machines are so phenomenal. They do so much that you definitely don't want to not have it available when you need it. Oh, Deborah says, my new Serger just arrived. It's scary just looking at it. Well, I'm glad that you're watching. Please don't be scared. They're actually quite awesome. So let me go ahead and show you guys some stitches. Oh, Danielle, I pronounced it correctly. Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you guys some stitches of what we're going to kind of talk about today so you get an idea. All right. So this is an overlock, 4-thread overlock stitch. And you can see I have all of the same color of thread. Now, when you're starting with your stitching, it might be a good idea, just if you're playing around for one day, to go ahead and put different colors in each, through 2 different colors for your needles and 2 additional different colors for your loopers. So that way, if something does not line up, you know by the color of that stitch where to make an adjustment, okay? Also, another thing, when you do get started, when you block out your time to have a serger date with your serger, go ahead and get some scrap fabric. Anytime I start a project with my serger, if I'm using polyester thread, and I usually use cotton, I may have to make some adjustments. If I'm using cotton material versus stretchy material, like a knit, I may have to make some adjustments in my machine. So I cut some scraps of what I'm going to be sewing on, and I have it available to test before I put my actual cutout pattern piece or quilt block in my serger or overlocker. Oh, wonderful. Paula shared on Facebook. Thank you. Oh, yes. And Barbara says, take a guide class with your dealer. AllBrands teams teaches me every time I go. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so let's go back to the stitches. So again, we have our 4-thread overlock in 4 different colors. Here's it all in one color. So basically the serger just trims the edge. This is what it's going to look like. And then wraps these threads around the edge so that you don't have any fraying. All right, the next stitch that we're going to learn how to use today is There is certain sergers that have 5 cones on top. That is a combination serge and cover hem. So cover hem is actually this stitch here. Maybe if you look at your cuff or the bottom of your t-shirt, this looks really familiar, right? This is often done on sleeves, the bottom of shirts, to hem pants. So it's got like a twin needle look on top and a loopy look on the back. And that is called a cover hem stitch. So you can have it in, depending on your machine, 2 needles or 3 needles down. Another thing that you can do with your serger is called a chain stitch. And basically, if you think of a chain stitch, if you've ever purchased a bag of dog food or corn feed, you'll be a little familiar with this stitch. So it basically looks like this. It has like the chain on the back, okay? And if you flip it over, it looks just like a straight stitch. So can I use my sewing machine to do regular straight stitch sewing? Absolutely. If you have a cover chain stitch machine, you can achieve this stitch on your machine. Now, there's also a combination option. So if you have a cover hem chain stitch machine, I can do my serge stitch here, and also my safety chain lock stitch here. Here's what it looks like on the back. You can see that my chain stitch is a little bit more, darken this up a little bit so that you can see. My chain stitch has like a little thicker loopy look on the back. So we're just basically, we're tangling the thread in a certain way through the machine so that we achieve this awesome result. Okay, another resource that I would like to show you, if you are a Bernina machine owner, this book, The Big Book of Serging, is on sale for 25% off for the rest of this month. This is an excellent resource to learn all about if you have a Bernina Overlocker machine. It's also a good resource just to learn about serger stitches, even if you don't have a Bernina. So it'll have all the different parts and pieces that you can learn about. Also, let me find the stitches. This is just a great machine, a great book. I just, I saved my, here we go. Which stitch to use, okay? So it'll tell you all about the different types of overlocking stitch. So 3-thread overlock wide, 3-thread overlock narrow, 2-thread overlock wide, 2-thread overlock narrow. And basically, with any stitch that you select, you're going to have in your manual, or if you have an intuitive screen machine, in the screen of the machine, it will tell you all of the settings that you need to set to achieve that particular stitch. All right, and then we have rolled hem. So we'll talk about rolled hem in a different video, but this is a decorative stitch. You can use it like on the corner of napkins. It's quite pretty. Flat lock stitches are really interesting. Something else that you can do. And then we get into our specialty stitches after that, even more. And then here again is our chain and cover stitch, which you have to have a chain cover stitch machine to achieve these specific. Here's another example of your combination overlocker and chain. All right. So I really love this book. If you haven't checked it out, it's on our website. It's called The Big Book of Serging. I think it's awesome. All right. let's go ahead and let me see if we have any comments yet. Not yet. Okay. We're going to thread a serger that doesn't have air threading. Okay. So let me move this back here. This one is actually one that I've had for a very long time. It's a Juki MO735. Juki is really well known for making the best sergers for a very long time. Did I click something? Sorry. Okay. All right, here we go. Oops. I probably need to position my cameras, y'all. Here we go. All right, here is, we're doing this one. The Juki MO735. You can see that this one has 5 cones of thread on the top. What does that mean? That means that it has the option for cover hem and chain stitch, okay? If it's just an overlocker or serger, you're not going to have this 5th thread, okay? I was having fun playing before the class today. All right, here we go. All right, so with every machine, you have your, like a catcher in some way that's going to catch all of your scraps in there. You'll have a door here that usually slides out and then opens up. Sometimes you can open this area. It's good for cleaning and getting into difficult areas, okay? So let's go ahead and get her threaded. Her or him. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to take my scissors. Now, one thing you can do, if you're afraid to thread your serger and you do have the option to tie off and pull through. So basically all you have to do is like trim this thread, put your other spool on, okay? And then find the 2 pieces, tie a square knot like this, and then you can like pull it through the looper, okay? I typically don't do that because I've forced myself to to thread my sergers, okay? So this is the time where you're going to breathe and you're not going to have any expectations of, you know, this is going to be perfect the first time, okay? So it was locked together, so I'm going to like turn my hand well enough until it kind of like gets loose. I never want to pull it so hard that things are snapping or that needles are bending, okay? So now everything is unthreaded, okay? I want to turn my machine off when I thread. Why is that? Because if I press the foot control and my hand is here, that is not going to be a fun time. I can promise you that. All right. Oh, Nightingale News says, this is the part that I'm scared of. That quilt is gorgeous. Don't be scared. It's so easy. Okay. You basically, on all machines, we have it on this one over here, right there, our airflow, 4 little tensions at the top, okay? Same with this one, 4 tensions at the top, okay? There's usually a pre-tension before you get to your actual tension. On this machine, can you see this? It's in the back. Do you see that red dot? It goes through the pre-tension before the tension, okay? And also, you can see inside of this little hole, when I raise my foot, the little symbols open. When I lower my foot, the symbols are going to close. So I want to start threading with my symbols open, so I lift my foot, okay? So we'll go through whatever pre-tensioner you have on your machine and just follow the guideline markers. Here we go. Woo! And it'll show you like a color. So this one's red, and look, the colors even match up on the serger. Isn't that cool? So now I can know, okay, my red thread is supposed to be coinciding with all of the little red dots in here, okay? So I'm gonna start from right to left, excuse me. Okay. So basically this whole thing right here is separating the threads and putting attention on it before it goes through each looper. Every machine has a different pathway, but if you follow the instruction here, then you'll be able to do it correctly. If it's hard to see, check your manual. You may want to YouTube your specific model and brand of machine and how to thread. That's also very helpful. Okay, so basically I want to follow my red here until I get through all of my little places. Okay, my foot's still up. If my foot was down, I would have tension on this thread. Like I can't, this is like hard to pull, right? So we're gonna keep our foot up and go through all these little loopies. And we're going to take it very slow and breathe. And every little path that we take, I'm gonna look here and I'm gonna look there and make sure that I am in the correct spot, okay? Now, this is a little bit of a tricky part. Let me see if I can get in here real close. Excuse me. Ooh, how's that? Pretty good. Looks like a deep, dark cavern in there, right? All right. So sometimes in your machine, you're going to have like something that you're going to have to push forward or back. Or you may have something that you're going to have to get your tweezers out to be able to get into. So I'm following my diagram here. And it's telling me that I need to go push this down, right? All right. And then I need to go up through here, following the blue. And I just take it really slow and I look at each thing back and forth. And I'm not sure if you can see where that went through, but yeah, it went through this little guy here that goes in and out. You see that? So, and then I can see here, okay, so I'm here right now, and I need to go up through this little loop. And guess what? It is super, super tiny. And if I can't get to that, I'm going to turn my hand wheel until it pokes out enough to where I can take my tweezers, get it behind that part that I need to, okay? That is a little hard to see. Let's see if I can get some lighting in here for you. Oh, that's much better. How about that? So we basically went behind this little guy. What does that do? That's only a guide to get the thread to where it needs to be. If you don't go through there, are you gonna have problems? Yeah, probably. So make sure that you follow the road that you need to follow, okay? So on this machine, this is actually a combination machine. So we have a chain, a lower looper, and an upper looper in here, okay? So I am going to make sure that this goes through the lower looper. Let's see. Ah, look at that. Got some stuff. Okay. I'm 24 minutes in and we have a lot to do. I want to show you some air threading sergers because they are so easy. But if you don't have an air threading serger, that is okay. So now what am I doing? I'm taking my thread with a fresh edge. I'm putting about 3/4 of an inch. Is that half an inch? That's about half an inch. And going through my lower looper, opening it, and then coming back up again. Now, look what happened here. This happens all the time, and this is how we get frustrated with our serger. Oh my gosh, my thread just looped around this thing. That's why I'm always going to be mindful to check my pathway, and if it gets caught in something, I'm always going to take my tweezers and make sure that it goes in the right pathway, okay? And then we're going to take this is our upper looper right here. I don't know if you can see that. Right here is our upper looper, and right there is our lower looper. And all they basically do is this, and that's what creates the wraparound of the edge of the stitch, okay? Let me show it to you close up. So basically, this part of your stitch that wraps around the fabric is your looper, okay? Very, very easy. All right. And then we'll always put our thread under and behind our foot, okay? To do that, I may have to deactivate a knife, okay? And just make sure that I am set up for success. I've always been told that the lower looper thread needs to go over the upper looper, like right here, like it's going over the top. And then I was told, oh, you don't have to do that. I think that if you start a stitch, it's automatically going to end up there anyway. But if it's going to go there anyway, you might as well just put it there. Okay, so I'm going to start my upper looper, and we still have our foot up, so my tensions are out, and I'm basically just going to follow what I just did here. Making sure my thread is in the tension. And now we are looking at blue. So I have my blue thread and my blue on the diagram. And I'm just going to follow each pathway until I get to, okay, here. And a lot of times, threads will go through the same path. That is okay. Don't worry. Oh, I love how you're encouraging each other. That's wonderful. Okay, so looks like this one needs to go. Sometimes you'll notice things in here that you may have missed, like this little thing here. And then it looks like I'm going through this little blue. Let's see this little blue here. The lighting is the hardest part of this video. Do you see how I have a little blue marker on here? And then it says here, it's like a little blue. So we're just going to go through there. So take the time, just become familiar with your serger and play around with threading it, okay? And anytime you thread a needle or a looper, this is what I do with my tweezers, okay? It makes it so much easier to thread. I have to have a good angle on it, sorry. There we go. Everybody's trying to thread your needle on the live show. No pressure. Okay. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show you is the air threading sergers, okay? So this is just basically how you thread the upper and lower looper, and then we do the same thing but to our needles. Okay, and if it doesn't go through, you just take your scissors, you make a fresh cut, and you try again. And you're very patient with it. And if you need to put something out of the way, you can lower your foot or move the knife. Just remember to always put things back the way they were. Okay, so I have a big loop around here. I'm going to make sure that my thread does not loop around anything, okay? So I'm going to pull it through. Look at all these like fun places where your threads can get hung up, you know? And that's where we run into problems, is when we have like a loop of thread that gets wrapped around something. 99% of the time, that's what's going on, okay? And then once we have it threaded, I'm gonna zoom out just a bit, we will thread our needles, excuse me, y'all. Activate my knife. I will thread my needles, okay? And then I'm gonna take my thread at a 45-degree angle, okay? I'm gonna turn my hand wheel until I can make sure that it's forming a chain stitch, okay? I'm not pulling super hard here. I'm just making the thread taut. And as long as I'm making a chain, then I can go ahead and press my foot control. I can make sure that nothing's like being caught up or anything. A thread's getting, oh, Kimberly, cool. Would love to find resources for projects that use sergers. Okay, well, maybe we'll do another serger video again. So that's basically how you thread. It's very easy to do the needle. You just go through the pre-tensioner. You follow like the little instructions at the top. And then you thread the right needle and the left needle. And I'll show you on this machine. I can turn the light on. You can see that the right needle and left needle are not on the same plane. Let's see. This one will work. Okay. Do you see how the right and the left needle, one of them is lower than the other? That is normal. It needs to be like that to form the stitch. So always make sure when you thread your needles that the needle is flat. Most of the time it's flat part to the back, but check your instruction manual. And the needles will not be the same height, and that's okay. And make sure that the needle is all the way up in there, because sometimes I've seen if someone doesn't insert their needle all the way, then the needle goes down too far and it creates problems with serging. I hope this was helpful. Let's go ahead and look at our air threading sergers. All right. So that was the Juki Immo 735. And now we're going to look at, excuse me, the Brother Airflow 3000. And I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the parts and pieces of the serger now. So let me zoom out. Change my camera. Okay. All right. Here we go. Brother Airflow 3000. You can see everyone in the background. All right. All right, so we have our trim tray. We already talked about that. All right. So on a serger, you're always going to have like, well, not always, but most of the time you're going to have something here that activates the knife. So it basically says, do I want to cut or do I not want to cut the edge of my fabric? So if you want to cut, you would activate the knife. If you don't want to cut, you deactivate the knife, okay? Now, sometimes your presser foot lever is on the front. This one's just a little different. This one is on the side, okay? Then we have our stitch length here, all right? And our differential feed. Differential feed we'll talk a little bit more about in our decorative video that we'll do next. But basically, it pushes or pulls the fabrics together to create gathers or that scallopy type edge, right? Oh, thank you for sharing, Kimberly. I appreciate that. All right, so when we open this serger, we will also see this one right here, and this is our width, okay? And when I turn this back and forth, I can see, when I turn this one back and forth, I can see my knife that's right here going out and in. So that is going to directly affect the width of my stitch. Okay, let me raise the foot so you can see it. Do you see the knife going right and left? Now with this machine, there is a stitch finger, okay? Basically, that is a little, let's see if I can get close in. It might help if I take the foot off. Here's our knife. This, let's see, can you see that? This thing, let me take my foot off real quick. That sounded really funny. Let me take off my foot. Oh, this is getting gory. Okay, so let's see here. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Let's go back in there and see if we can see it a little bit better. Okay. Do you see this? This little thing, the thread wraps around it, and it helps to carry it over the edge of the fabric. And it moves with the knife that's here. This is our knife, okay? Knives are different on all machines. You saw on the Juki it came from up above. On this one, it's one from below. Sometimes there's two that work together, and sometimes there's one underneath. So this one looks like this. If you're not too dizzy after that. Sorry, guys. The joys of live. All right. So basically, that's the width moves the knife and the stitch finger left and right, so that when you wrap around, it'll wrap around farther away or closer in. Okay. Now on every serger that I've ever seen, let me switch the camera back. On every serger that I have ever seen, there's always like a black dot to what's like normal setting on the machine. So let's get in a little closer. So we can see on this one, my tensions have between, excuse me, I think the lighting is actually making it worse. Between the, nope, it's not. Between the tensions, here we go. There's a line between 3, 4, and 5. That means for regular overlocking stitch, you want to be between 3, 4, and 5. That is your standard setting, okay? So tensions all stay basically on 4. If your machine, you know, may be a little different, sometimes you'll adjust those depending on your stitch. Talking a little bit more about tensions. When you have, like if you were troubleshooting a stitch, so you stitch something out and it's a little wonky on one side, and maybe you notice that your upper looper is being like hanging out over the edge, right? Okay. Always like take the other side and loosen before tightening the side that is being pulled over. Like say the top's being pulled over to the back, loosen the back before tightening the top. Always loosen before you tighten. That's a rule of thumb that I learned a long time ago, and it's helped me tremendously. And when you do adjust tensions, you shouldn't have to adjust it a whole lot. Just do a little bit. Stitch some more, and then you'll go from there, okay? So here's our air threader. So basically, I'm going to show you how this works. All right, so I'm pulling my thread out. So if you still are not excited about threading your own serger, there are air threading sergers in every brand now. Brother, Bernette, Juki, Baby Lock, and Bernina. Okay, so we're going to take our thread and we'll put it through the hole. And some machines require a little bit more than others. I know this Brother requires a pretty long tail inside to be able to go through. So basically, I take my tweezers. I'm going to get it. Oh, before we do that, I'm sorry. You're going to activate the tubes so that it has a pathway to go through. Okay, so I'm going to push this down. And then I'm going to turn my hand wheel until this, and you can watch in this area, the tubes are going to connect. Okay, so if I can get my shoulder out the way. All right, so I'm still turning, I'm still turning, I'm still turning, I'm still turning, and it's going to go click. You see that? And now these tubes right here are connected, and then the air is going to take the thread, take it through both loopers, and make your life a lot easier. Who likes doing things the hard way, right? So I'm going to take my tail. I'm going to put it in there pretty far in, okay? So at least an inch. Some machines require more than others, depending on, price point has a lot to do with it. Your higher end sergers are going to have a much stronger stream, I guess, of air. And on this one, I make sure that there's no loops up here, and I hold it up, and I press this button. You'll hear the air. Can you hear that? And then, did you see here? Look at this. I swear, this lighting in here is so bad. Look at our lower looper is now threaded. Okay, so we did our lower looper. Let me do my upper looper now. All right. So we're just going to put the thread in the hole. Oh, Danielle, cute. All right, so I'm just going to get it started. I'm going to press my air, and then I can make like more of some slack in there, because if I hold it here and push the air, it's just going to stay in the same spot because I have tension on the thread. Okay, so I'm going to keep pressing the air until, oh wow, look at this. It came through the upper looper. Okay. So I'm going to carefully take all of my threads that I just threaded. I'm going to put them under the feet. So sometimes, like if your knife is in the way, you might have to kind of maneuver it around. Make sure you don't get caught up on things. Here's another thing. Make sure threads don't wrap around each other. I can see right here, both of my needle threads are like doing this little twisty thing right here. We don't want that when we're doing serging, okay? So I'm going to try to make sure that these are separated. Okay. So it's all about just checking your thread paths, making sure that nothing is wrapped around anything. Okay, and remember what I said before, when we're getting started, so I'm going to deactivate my hair threader. If I don't deactivate it, guess what? My door's not going to close. And then the safety light's going to say, nope, you can't sew right now because it's not safe. Okay, so I'm going to deactivate that, and you can see that my tubes opened up. Forgot to put my lower looper under my foot. All right, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 threads in my hand. They're all pulling through quite nicely. And then I'll close my doors. I'm going to make sure that all my pre-settings are on the black marker, okay? So we're on 1, we're on 3, and they may be different settings for each machine, but it will have it marked. I know that, 4444 is pretty common with sergers. I want my knife to be activated, and this has a little black dot on it to where we need to be. So as long as you're in the preset settings, you should be good. Another thing to think about, if you use different weights of thread, different brands of thread, you're going to have different results through the tension than the other one. So just be mindful that it's easier if you use the same brand and weight of thread when you're searching. Okay, so I'm gonna put my foot down, and then before I get started on fabric, what do? I turn my hand wheel. Nothing is clicking together, nothing is binding up. I feel pretty confident about pressing the foot pedal down. And you can stitch in place on a serger. Okay, and I'm not pulling here. I'm just kind of, holding my thread just to check it. I'm going out at a 45-degree angle. I am making a chain. We are making loops. This is a very good sign, okay? And then I'm going to put my test fabric under my foot. And the feed dogs on sergers actually come up pretty darn far. So I know some people say, like, you can make a snip and put it back in there. And it really just depends on where your feed dogs are located in your machine. This one, they're pretty far. So I can actually start just by putting my fabric in front of my foot. All right, and when we feed our fabric through, I'm not going to pull from the back. I'm only steering the fabric left and right and kind of holding this area just so that I know that it's not going to go over itself. Or and then when you're done with your stitch, chain off. A lot of times you'll have like a thread cutter on the side of your machine. You can use that. Or you can take your scissors out, use your scissors, and we have a 4-thread overlock stitch. And oh shucks, we didn't have any problems. But what if we did? Okay, let me just mess things up. All right, let me mess things up really bad. So I'm going to turn my hand wheel. We're okay. I'm going to. Oh, we're making a chain. We're doing good. All right, let's look at this stitch. Well, apparently I didn't mess it up. Let me mess it up a whole lot more. All right, let's try that. And I'll show you what a bad stitch looks like. Okay. All right. This looks kind of funky, okay? Do you see how it's like pulling the corner down here? It's like puckering quite a bit. It's so funny because I really, really messed up these tensions. Let's see. Let me go all the way up. Let me just put none, because this is not bad enough. Hold on. It's a bad problem to have when you can't. Okay, perfect. Look at this. Okay, so here's the front, okay? So I got my upper looper here. It's wrapping around the back. Do you see that? How like the crisscross is on the back side of the fabric? That means that my what should I do? If I'm on all fours and it looks like this, which one am I gonna tighten this one, or am I gonna loosen this one? I'm gonna loosen this one actually. So let me go ahead and bring that down. Well, that's not really what I'm supposed to do. And then we're gonna try it again. Much better. Now, they both hang off the edge just a little bit. Do you see? You see right here how the loops hang off the edge? That's when I would just start going ahead and tightening, okay? So I hope that was helpful in learning the air threading serger. Now we're gonna talk a little bit more about cover hem and cover hem. All right. Is it Barbara Jones in the comments that's cracking you up? She's so funny. All right. Let me move this. I'm trying this new setup to see if we can make things a little smoother. Okay, let's bring out our Bernina serger. And I will show you my favorite serger ever that I've ever stitched on. Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to turn it on. And go ahead and put this one on the screen so that you can see. I'm going to turn it on. All right, here we go. Bernina made to create. What I like about this machine is that you don't have to have your instruction manual. The instruction manual is in the machine. Okay? The machine is awesome. So now I'm going to show you about extra things that you can get on your machine. So like we had before, this machine has the air threaders here. Here we go. Air threaders, okay? And we'll see that there's 3. So do you remember how with a regular serger overlocker, we had 4 threads? Well, we know we have 2 needle threads, right? 2 needle paths. But we have 3 here, right? So one of them is the chain, okay? And on my Juki, which we didn't see before, but I'll show you real quick. On this Juki 735, that extra chain is through here, just so that you know. And Juki has actually some really good video tutorials made by Juki to show you how to use that, okay? So what I love about this machine is that it has some features and benefits that you might be interested in, okay? So not only does it have the air threading that we talked about before, it also has a knee lifter, okay? All right. So when my foot's down, do you see I can use my knee lifter to raise and lower my foot? That is really helpful when you're holding something together and you need to lift your foot for a moment. This one also has an extension table on it that's very easy to remove and put back on, okay? This is the base. It also has a free arm. A lot of times when we're stitching, oh, funny, Elle Faber, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, I know, they're behaving and they're supposed to misbehave, these machines. So the free arm is really good for those like little tiny, like if I needed to cover him this, can you imagine? Like I would have to try extra hard not to get this layer attached to this layer here. So a free arm is really nice to have on a serger, okay? Another feature, like just a comfort feature that I love about this machine is that there's a lot of area from needle to the neck here. So I've seen this on the Berninas. I think the Baby Locks have it, and the Bernette air threading sergers have a lot of area here. Why is that important? Because sometimes I need to get around this way. And it's nice to be able to stick your arm in there. You can't do that on the standard style sergers, okay? All right, you'll notice that this one looks a little different. It's flat here. We're actually on our chain stitch. So another thing with this machine, and there's other machines that have this, you can get it in an overlocker. It's the L860, but this is the Bernina L890. So this one has a friend in the machine, okay? Basically, when I turn my machine on, it's gonna say, do you need help or are you an expert already? Guess what? I've been working in this store for 20 years and I still need help, okay? I'm gonna click guided mode because I want it to tell me every setting and thing that I need to do for the vast amount of stitches that this is able to do. So this is our combination machine, cover hem and serger, okay? I'm gonna click guided mode, okay? And then I'm gonna go to my stitches. So do I wanna do overlock? Do I wanna do cover? Or do I wanna do a combination of the two, okay? Right now, I have the machine set up. The last thing that I did was cover hem on this machine. I wanna go back to combination, okay? And cover hem, do you remember or cover hem? There's no knife when you do cover hem. You deactivate the knife. So I'll show you how to do all of that. Well, the machine will actually. So let's do a 3-thread chain stitch, okay? All right, it's gonna take us through every step of the way. I'm gonna lift my foot and then I'm gonna click next. So I'm basically following the instructions of the machine. It's gonna tell me to unthread the following paths, the right center needle and the left cover, right cover and left cover needle. Unthread those. So let me do that. All right. I'm just gonna, and when I unthread, I just like clip from the top here, my threads. I'll make sure my feet are all the way up. And I'm just gonna pull it on through. Okay. All right. If I wasn't sure how to do that, I just click this little video button and it's gonna show me exactly what to do. Okay. I can pause it and replay it when I need to. All right, it's gonna tell me to change the foot to C11. So let me do that. There's a little red button on the back that detaches the foot. And you get this handy dandy little case with these machines that you can fit all your little parts and pieces inside, okay? So this is like your regular foot, okay? So to put our foot on, generally with serger feet, you're gonna have like a little bar here, okay? Do you see that little bar? And then on the machine, all you have to do is basically, and you know what I use? Sometimes I use the, I'll put my foot down and then use the knee lifter so I don't have to reach back here. And I can have two hands putting on the foot. And there's a little wire here that has to go up and over the foot. And then basically we're going to lower our shank onto the foot. And it's just going to snap in place. Another thing, comfort feature of this machine is that the foot swings right and left so that you can easily put the thread underneath it, okay? All right, so the next step that we're going to do is adjust the foot pressure. It's going to show you exactly where it is. It's up here. All right, and I'm just going to make sure that this is on 4. So foot pressure is basically the weight that the foot is putting onto the fabric. Okay, if you have not enough pressure, the feed dogs might not, you know, take the fabric back enough. If you have too much pressure, it's going to keep it in the area that it's in. So yeah, we want to keep it where it's at. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next step. And then it's going to tell me to change my needles, okay? This machine has a lot of different needle spots on it. All right, can you see both the screen now and the needles? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to open my drawer here and take out my screwdriver, okay? And my needle tool. This is a comfort, okay? Not all brands and models come with this needle tool. It's made by Bernina, and it's really awesome. And I think we actually have this individually on our website to purchase, which is great. All right. So it's going to tell me go to the left needle position and the right cover, okay? So I'm already in the right cover right here on this one. So I'm going to take this one out. So I basically just take my screwdriver. First, I'm going to put this. First, I'm going to take the thread out and not drop my screwdriver. And then I'm going to put my needle insertion and take out the tool around my needle like this. You see that? Then I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to unscrew the screw, remembering that I better screw it back in. Otherwise, it may get loose and your screw may fall out, and then you're going to end up, you know, at AllBrands to get a replacement screw. Okay? So just make sure that once you loosen that you always just tighten it back up. Not so tight that it's like going to strip the screw or anything. And these are actually, it's like a little tiny hex type screwdriver. All right, so now I'm going to go to the left needle position. So that is this screw right here. So I'm going to loosen that, all while my needle is still here. And this is where I talked about making sure that your needle is inserted all the way up. Really important. If it's not inserted all the way up, you're not going to get the stitch that you are hoping for. All right, so here's something that happened. I can't get the needle in. Okay, there's a flat part of your needle that needs to go to the back. And this machine can take all of the Schmetz needles. ELX 7 and 5 is the needle system. All right. So all right, I'm going to watch the video. Sometimes you may have to get underneath your machine or behind your machine. Here we go. Loosen your screw a lot. Oopsies. Okay, now my screw came out. That's okay. You remember, we're going to breathe when we do our sergers. We're going to breathe and know that everything's okay, because we took some time to put this together. All right. try something. Okay, that's what happened. To do the left needle, you need to loosen, and it's showing me on the video, loosen your right needle screw and your left. Thank you, video. I would have not have guessed that. Let me go ahead and make sure that I don't lose this little tiny needle. Screw, put it back in very carefully. I'm going to be very patient with myself, so it's okay, even though the needle fell out. Now I know from watching the video. See, we all make mistakes, and it's okay. There we go. Now we're cooking with oil, and we're going to tighten both the left and right screw. So it's just something that you'll just have to learn. Every machine is different, and just troubleshoot, you know. Be patient, ask questions, come to your dealer, you know, come visit AllBrands if we're your dealer, and ask us questions. All right, because two heads are better than one, for sure. All right, so we did our needles, and then we'll basically go to the next step on the screen. All right, so it's telling me to activate the knife. So, where is the knife? I know that it's right here. Let me put my table on correctly. Let me just, there we go. All right, so I activated the knife. I'm gonna make sure that my cutting width is at 6. So that's here. Cutting width is at 6. I'm going to attach the knife cover. So that's, I know that that's this. So this is for cover hem and chain stitch. But when your knife is going up and down, you want to use this one. Okay. So it just basically slides in here. Oh, did I forget how to put it on? Guess what? There is a video. Here we go. All right. Activate the upper knife. Now this one, I couldn't remember, and I did have to watch the video earlier today. I know that it's this, and then we turn our circle control. All right, see how our knife came up? Very cool. All right. That's all there is to it. Hook out the upper looper converter. How is that? Oh, this machine does so much. It's so helpful that everything is in the machine and not in a paper instruction manual. This is the Bernina L890. All right, and then now it'll say your rolled hem, go to 0. Okay, one thing that is unique, here's another comfort of this machine. This is a micro thread control. So do you remember how I told you earlier that the knife and the stitch finger move at the same, they stay together. And when you increase the width of your stitch, the stitch finger moves along with your knife. Micro control actually moves them independently of each other. So it gets you more capabilities to alter your stitch. So if you're hanging off the edge, you can bring your stitch finger in. You know, it just gives you more capabilities. So we're at 0, and then we're going to thread our machine and do our stitch. But we're out of time today, so we're going to have to do that another day. All right, let me go back here. Ah, look at all these sergers. They're everywhere. Well, I hope that was helpful, everyone. Let's go through some comments. And don't forget, pretty soon, we are going to be doing a giveaway. So if you haven't yet, comment hashtag AllBrands and share publicly on Facebook. All right, let me go through some questions here. All right. Danielle says, I need to learn how to use mine. I haven't used it for 30 years. Okay, so we're going to breathe and we're going to be very patient with ourselves. We're going to check our manual. We're going to get scrap fabric and we're going to practice, okay? And know that it's going to be okay. All right, Gloria says, I'm new to serging and I don't understand the tension adjustments. All right, so with your machine, if you're doing a regular overlock, it's going to all be at whatever your machine says is the standard, which is mostly 4, between 3 and 5. So I always put it at 4. If you have a different thread on your upper looper or lower looper, or that something needs to be adjusted, like we said earlier, if something is like wrapping around the edge, always loosen the bottom. The top is wrapping around the bottom. Loosen the bottom before tightening the top. Just something I was always told. This is the part that I'm scared of threading. Just be patient with yourself, and if you need help, come and visit your dealer, okay? We are here to help you. Getting correct tension is my downfall, Kimberly. Okay, so scrap fabric, patience, and don't be afraid to, like, you know, change things around. A lot of times if something is really off on the machine, there is a thread going around something that it's not supposed to. So check your threading first before altering your tensions drastically. I never have to alter them a ridiculous amount if the machine is threaded correctly, which takes patience. And if you don't have the patience, just get an air threader. We have tons. We have Juki, we have Bernette, we have Brother, we have Bernina in our stores. So take advantage of that. Okay. Here we go. L. Faber. Hi, Barbara. Could you sometimes down the road show for some different stitches and what the stitches are used for? Absolutely. What do y'all want to see next time? Do you want to do some maybe elastic or gathering maybe next week? Just let me know in the comments if you would like something like that. Linda says, don't stand on your head to thread. Get an air threader. It does make your life much easier. But if you don't have one, just get some patience. And, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. And know that, you know, we all thread our sergers incorrectly sometimes. All we have to do is just, we're going to turn our hand wheel, make sure it's making the stitch. And if it's not, we're going to go back to step 1 and breathe. Okay? Stitches would be great. Okay, very cool. That sounds like a date, everybody. All right, Deborah says, how do you know what tension to use? I know there is a guidebook, but how do you reference your fabric choice? One thing that, another comfort about the L890 from Bernina that I love is, let me go back to my camera here. All right, why is it sideways? Goodness gracious. Let's go home. You have like a consultant in here. So you can say like, I have a tight weave, I have an open weave, I have a tight knit, I have an open knit. And it will tell you, I have leather, it'll tell you exactly what to do. So now you're gonna select your stitch. Say I wanna do blind hem. It's gonna tell me the needle, it's gonna tell me the thread, it's gonna tell me the foot. Now normally, you would have to check your manual. Sometimes that's not in the manual. So then you would just use trial and error or ask a friend. And you have a friend at AllBrands, okay? All right. Let's see. Oh, or the big book of serging is a very good reference tool, okay? And that's on our website, and it's 25% off until the end of the month. go to our promotions page to grab that coupon code. All right, here we go. L Faber says, no, Barbara, I meant you're making me laugh. You're trying, oh yeah, I tried to make the serger not work. But you can see, the tension only does so much. I was literally at like 4. No, I was literally at like 7 in my upper looper and like 2 in my lower looper, and it was still stitching beautifully. So if it's not, then your machine either needs to be serviced or it's not threaded correctly. So go back to square one, okay? Here's another one, L Favorite question. I can't seem to use my knee lift. I can't reach it comfortably. Not sure in the world what I'm doing wrong. Interesting. Does anybody in the comments have any suggestions for that? I'm thinking like the height of your chair may have something to do with it, and the height of your table. Let her know in the comments if y'all have any suggestions. Okay, Avi says, is that the top of the line machine, the L890? Yes, this is the top of the line Bernina. They call it an overlocker because it's Swiss. Yes, and it is a fantastic machine. It makes a beautiful stitch, very wide stitch. All right, let's go back to the comments. Oh my gosh, you are so kind. You guys are so great. Oh, Desiree has the L890, loves it. Yes, I actually have it too. I'm kind of spoiled. And now I think I know everything about sergers because my serger tells me everything that I need to do. But I did not have it before. And I had this Juki 735 right here. And although I did have to take a lot of patience for threading, it is a very nice serger. All right. Barbara Jones says, life is short. Buy the serger. Yes, it is short. Oh my gosh, I get reminded of that every day, which is why I try not to be hard on myself. And you shouldn't be hard on yourself either. Make a date with your serger. Give it some love and understanding, and yourself too. Oh, here we go. Here's a question from Marianne Knight. If I need to change one color thread, do I need to rethread them all so the thread order stays the same? Not on any of the machines that I showed you. I'm not familiar with the Baby Locks, but any other brand, no. You do not have to thread in a particular order on the Bernina or the Brother or the Juki. Okay. Oh, Kim doesn't own a serger. Okay. If I was on a desert island, Kim, and I had a choice to bring my serger or my sewing machine, which one would I pick? I would pick my serger. Cover hem, mix, because I can do a straight stitch. And it's called a lock stitch. You know, it doesn't have a bobbin, and it's like a little thicker on the bottom because it's that dog food bag style stitch. But you can do straight stitch on a combination overlocker cover hem machine. So, something to consider. Or just getting a regular serger. All right. Oh, funny. Barbara, you must need to know quite a bit with having AllBrands, lots of different brands, yes. But it's all very similar. I mean, they have an upper and lower looper. They have generally 2 needles, unless it's a cover hem. And then if it is a cover hem combination, you add the cover hem, like path or threader, and the extra needles for the cover. So, yeah. That little tool seems very helpful. Yes, this thing is awesome, actually. I'm going to have to see if we sell it separately on our website. It should be a Bernina accessory, for sure. Needle tool, I would assume that it's called. Another thing that you always want to have with your serger, if you don't have them, get some nice tweezers. It's impossible to thread a serger without, unless it's an air threader. And even an air threader, you have to use the tweezers to kind of get the thread, because it pops out any which way. You have to make sure that thread is under the foot in 45-degree angles to the back. and you count your threads. If it's threaded 4 threads, you count 4 threads on the back, and just make sure it's all clean and neat and put together, you know, and that's very helpful with tweezers. All right, need more arms and hands. All right, Sharon just purchased a Brother 3000. Yay, Sharon! Love that machine, and it actually comes with a lot of different feet. We have, if you purchase it now, it comes with 5 feet. I think 3 are in the box, and then 2 additional we throw in. It's a fantastic deal. I think it's like elastic gathering sequins and pearls. That's really cool. So maybe we'll talk about all those feet next week. That sounds like a really good, fun plan. All right. Oh, Gloria has a suggestion for, I think it was El Faber that asked about the knee lifter. Raise your chair, maybe? We're all trying to help each other out here. Put a step stool under the desk and raise your foot pedal and feet. Yeah. Avi says, which machine is your favorite, Serger? That is a toughie, but because I like convenience, currently my L890 is my favorite. I feel like if you have, you know, the means to purchase this amazing machine, because it is an investment, but it is an investment that will make your life wonderful, then it's absolutely worth it. I, you know, have passed up maybe projects in the past because I didn't feel like threading my serger, or I wasn't sure what stitch to use. And now that I have like this amazing tool that tells me how to do it in the machine, it makes me more confident to do more activewear, swimwear, all that kind of stuff. It's a thingamajig. I love it. Y'all are so funny. All right. El Faber, I couldn't decide moves to bring between my Juki or Brother embroidery machine and my Skinnacut. Don't make me choose. All right. Erin says my Baby Lock came with a hand needle threader. Works well. Yeah. So Baby Lock sergers are exclusive to Baby Lock. So they're quite unique sergers. Oh, thank you for the knee lift suggestion. All right, are y'all ready to do a giveaway? Let's go ahead and do first, we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do our hashtag AllBrands, okay? And I'm gonna wait just a second while I pull up Facebook so that I can find the sharer. So you can either type hashtag AllBrands, or of course it gives me 2-factor authentication. Who loves that? Not me. I mean, it's great, you know, that we're safe and everything. But it is quite inconvenient when I have to get into 3 different portals, and all 3 portals have 2-factor authentication. And yeah, it's really fun. Rant over. Okay, who wants to win something? Let's go ahead and draw a winner. Who is our winner going to be? Our winner is... Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. Nope. Oh my gosh, this never happens. That is so funny. Lauren, I know you're at allbrands.com and you're watching this video. You can't win. So guess what? We're going to have another drawing. All right, ready? Here we go. Our winner is, let's see who our winner is. Oh, Carolyn. Oh my gosh, Carolyn, congratulations. Please email me at events@allbrands.com to claim your $25 allbrands.com e-gift card. Woohoo! You're lucky today. You're so lucky. All right, let me go on, head on over to our Facebook page. So we're allbrands.com on Facebook. If you haven't yet, please go over there and follow us. We also have a number of groups available. We just added our new group for the Bernina B990 pre-order. There's tons of folks in there that are already getting their VIP charter memberships for pre-ordering the new top-of-the-line sewing embroidery quilting machine from Bernina. And they're all, you know, giving away information of what's included, and it's really cool. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, we got 10 shares on Facebook. I love you guys so much. You're amazing. All right, it's going to be hard to pick, but here's one. Our winner for the Facebook sharing is Paula Becker. Congrats, Paula. Hope you're still watching, and please email me, like as before, at events@allbrands.com to claim your $25 e-gift card that you can use to shop on our website, allbrands.com. We also have 7 retail store locations throughout Louisiana and Texas. Here they are. Let me get that comment off the screen. Yes, congrats. So if you have questions or need support, give us a call and, you know, schedule a time to come in so that we can make sure that someone is there to help you. And I hope today was helpful. Let me know. Let me know if you guys learned something new. Sometimes I don't know if all of you are experts or you've never done something. So feedback's important. But next week, let's take it to another level. And we'll do elastic and gathering. And maybe, I don't know, maybe rolled hem. We'll see. We'll see which machine. I may do it on the Brother. I may do it on the Bernina. But we'll see you next Thursday at 3:30. I'll try not to go 30 minutes over like I did today. But I really appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next week so much. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. Ah! All right. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.